Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to take on the question of why do narcissists so often stay in touch with their ex? Please, as always, hit the bell, subscribe so you can keep getting this content twice a week. And you know what? Toss us a comment down. Have you ever had a narcissistic ex? Have you ever had a narcissistic ex who stays in touch with their ex? Or are you currently in a relationship with a narcissist who keeps staying in touch with their exes? And if you have that happening in your life, will you please tell me what their excuse is for why this is happening? I'm a little less interested in like ex-spouses or ex-people where they have kids together. Clearly that might be a reason why. But like we're talking like they dated someone for 6 months and they still need to be in touch with them. So let's talk about this. This is actually one of those issues I've taken some flack and taken some hits for. Some people are like, hey you, I am friends with my exes. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And no, there's not. There's really not. I actually think it's different for everyone. And I don't believe this is ever anything that should be judged. I think what it needs to be done with it is viewed in a context. Okay? If you have two secure, healthy people in a relationship, and one of them still has contact with an ex, and you have a healthy relationship with your person, and it's clearly done, and they do things like they've introduced you to the ex, you get together with the ex knows you're together, they don't need to do secret communication with them. As long as it's transparent, above board, healthy, there's no micro-cheating going on, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think many of us out there have had relationships when we realize this person would have probably been a better friend than partner, and then we're like, yeah, okay, I'd love to try to salvage the friendship. Some people don't have that attitude. They're like, you know what? Once you see me naked, you ain't ever going to be my friend. So some people take that stance too. So let's get back then to this idea of why narcissists stay in touch with their exes. Here it may not be sort of that healthy friendship thing. We all know that the central motivator, come on you guys, you remember, what's that central motivator for narcissists? Validation. Okay, they need validation. So an ex is often a really interesting place to get it. Because let's face it, once you've been snake bit by a narcissist, it remains a game for a while. It can be years where you still kind of get caught in the mental gamesmanship and sort of the hypnosis of being in one of these relationships. And when they start kind of trying to get your attention and kind of do sort of a side love bomb on you while they're still in a relationship with someone else, you can feel all that excitement you felt when you were originally love bombed. So you can see then while you're in a relationship with one, how they may pull that stunt with an ex because they constantly need that fresh supply. And they kind of know what the ex's supply is like. So for them, it's interesting how many narcissists out there try to pitch it virtuously, like, I'm so cool. I stay friends with all my exes. I'm so evolved. When in fact, it's really just sort of a gravy train of narcissistic supply coming from all of their exes. So for them, many times it is that sense of they need to keep a leg in there. What's also interesting about narcissists is that they do have abandonment issues. They do not like to be left. They struggle with that. Why? Come on, you remember, because they are struggling with a core insecurity. And people who are insecure do often struggle with issues around abandonment. Listen, if we're feeling solid in our sense of self, we may miss someone, but we won't feel that primitive sense of abandonment, right? Narcissists are actually not, they are somewhat prone, not like we might see, for example, in other kinds of psychiatric patterns, but narcissists can have that sense, especially if the person they used to be in a relationship with is someone they valued, like they thought was really rich or powerful or attractive or much younger than them or something that kind of gave them some extra superficial cachet. And so it's almost hard for them to give up and they'll feel quite abandoned in those circumstances. But many people have reached out to me. I've run into this with clients I've worked with. We've had comments about this. We've had people send this in as a question. Why does a narcissist feel like they have to stay in touch with their exes? It's really likely a mashup of reasons, including their obsession with getting more validation, more admiration, and ongoing narcissistic supply. Secondly, their issues around abandonment and not ever feeling like anyone's ever left them because of their core insecurity. They're always interested in the game. Narcissists are always interested in one thing and one thing only, and that's winning. And so the idea of kind of going back in there and seeing if they can kind of fool around, not fool around literally like sexually, but like fool around and play a game and win over the ex, or I don't know, play cat and mouse as it were with the ex, they're very drawn to that. So the gamesmanship also kind of keeps the narcissist in. Another interesting thing you need to know about narcissists, a little bit of bonus. This is a bonus hidden in this video. Narcissists actually kind of love secrets. For narcissists, secrets are power. Secrets are something they know that someone else doesn't know. It's a little bit of currency or a weapon they can take out down the road. It makes them feel like they're kind of getting away with something, and it gives them a sense of power and even fuels their grandiosity. So it may be that just sort of staying in touch with the ex, there can sort of be a secretive piece to it. Ever watch a narcissist on their phone? They're always like trying to act annoyed that they keep getting texts, but they're like, they're just blah, 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 blah. It's like, thumb hockey on their phone. And so a lot of that is part of that needing as many people to be in touch with them as often as possible. And exes tend to enter that stable of people they want to stay in touch with. So there's a lot of reasons. And again, this is not at all meant to be an indictment of people who stay close to some of their exes. It's understandable. It can actually be quite healthy. The struggle with narcissists, many, many times, when they stay in touch with an ex, and you guys, you've experienced this, it's often done on the down low. It's very secretive. It's hidden. They'll often deny it, so you're being gaslighted. It can feel confusing. They don't sometimes want you to meet the ex. They'll downplay it. All the mental games. That's the difference. That's not healthy. A healthy version of this is like, yeah, I'm friends with my ex. Why don't we all get together and have a beer? I would love for my ex to meet the person I love now. That's healthy. That ain't the game the narcissist plays. So that's why narcissists collect people, because you can never have enough supply when you're a narcissist. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, subscribe. Videos coming out twice a week now. Bye-bye.